cannot remember your
Oh,
name.
that's all good. I'm Charis.
Charis. Wow, we got some fun names this year. We got Achilles, we got Charis. I like it.
Yeah,
Unique.
Shout out to my mom.
Nice. All right, well, Charis, tell me a bit about yourself. Acting background, school, anything you think is relevant or not relevant.
Well, I started acting in middle school. I auditioned for Sherlock Holmes and I got to play this really sassy old lady. And then, yeah, I just loved it lots. And I found it was like a great way to make community and meet new people too.
Yeah.
And I feel like in middle school everyone's kind of looking for their community, so that was really sweet to do. Yeah, and then in high school I just kept on with it and got more and more into it and kind of fell in love with it. And then Rachel just recently told me about Shakespeare in the Park, and I saw her perform in it last year.
Yep.
And I thought it was so much fun, and then I heard great stuff about Dawn, and I was like, I just love to be a part of it, so I auditioned
And here you are, yeah. Nice, wonderful, perfect. Tell me about your character. Who do you play? What's your approach been to them, and any challenges?
That's such a great question. My character is Mariah. I thought it was Maria, but it's Mariah. That was a tricky switch. I don't know. I find characters I mainly explore through like just doing it, like what comes up as I'm acting it with the other characters, interacting with them, and kind of to where I almost think sometimes your character can become whatever goes along with the script and what the script says about your character, but also what the scene kind of needs at that moment. So sometimes I found, especially in like the first couple of rehearsals, Mariah is a lot bolder than I expected her to be, because I was like, I think this scene needs a little bit more boldness, and it wouldn't necessarily go against her character. But she's pretty quiet. She doesn't really say much unless she's like more one-on-one with her ladies, but then she's pretty bold. So I think she might be more introverted or just open up more around her ladies, and not so much everyone else. And I think just that she might think a little bit more than in those times, because she's not always speaking, so then she's not always getting her thoughts out. So like, I think she's pretty observant, but mostly I've just been playing with her being super giggly right now. So I think I look forward to trying out new things with her in rehearsals, and kind of like through reading the script on my own, if I'm like, I think she would react to it this way, or I think this would be fun to play with. But I'd say really playing with all of it and just testing stuff out. And definitely I find in the moment more discoveries than like when I'm thinking about it. I find that doesn't work as well.
Yeah.
I do think journaling about the character is beneficial, but I've found more benefit from that hands-on exploration. So I'll probably do a little bit of journaling about her and her backstory and everything. I really liked getting the letters and writing the letters. That was really fun. So I don't know, we'll just see. I think it changes every time.
It goes. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Without too many spoilers for the play, what are your character's main goals or motivations during the story?
I think she wants to support the princess, but I think this is also kind of a fun visit for her. And she's just excited. She's just happy to be here.
Yeah, get out of France for a bit.
Literally, she's just having a good time.
Yeah.
I think too in those moments where it's like when the princess does kind of get insulted by the king, or when the princess is feeling stronger emotions, for no spoilers. Although it's pretty old, I feel like it's not a spoilers one. I think there is that kind of fierce love underlying it, which I actually found in one of the improv kind of games Dawn led us in. So I love that, because I was like, there is a deep love underneath these characters for each other. So I'd say that, like, support for her ladies. Probably a lot of fun. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think more on it for beyond that.
Yeah. There you go. Something to think about.
Totally.
All right. If your character had to pick a favorite food, what would it be? Don't worry about like timeline restrictions. It could be something crazy. What do you think she'd like?
All that's coming to mind is marshmallows.
Marshmallows?
So, marshmallows.
Yeah. Nice.
I think Mariah would like them. I think she's kind of like fun and bubbly, and we're also kind of quiet. Like she doesn't need to be in your face about it.
Yeah. She's kind of a bit more reserved.
A bit more reserved, yeah. Really giggly though. So that was my own twist on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, marshmallows. She wears a lot of white marshmallows.
There you go.
Yep.
That works. Alrighty. I think you kind of touched on this a little bit already, but what's your favorite aspect of playing this character? The giggles.
Yeah. Standing giggle summer. Like, yeah. And I think the fun of the ladies, because I think when you really get into characters, sometimes I think you feel some of the stuff that the character's feeling. And so being able to like feel excited that we're in Nevers and that there's all these cute boys around and that the boy that she likes is here.
Yeah.
And that she's with all her ladies and they're just joking around. Like I think that's just so much fun to be in that environment. So
you get to play off other people.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. There's some really fun stuff happening in rehearsals. I'm so excited for everyone to see because I am loving it.
Nice.
Yeah, just the fun of playing off of each other and just what the script has too, because it's really fun stuff to work with.
Nice. Perfect. All right. What is your character's idea of a perfect Sunday? You can do the day or the food.
I'm gonna go with the day.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I like Sundays. maybe Mariah does. Maybe I'm
but
getting not me. Let's not dwell on it. I would say the perfect Sunday. I think she'd probably have I think she'd go to church in the morning, and I have a feeling like it's I'm not Catholic, but I have a feeling it's like just kind of the silence of like a Catholic mass would really be her vibe.
Yeah.
And like just the peace in that and kind of connecting. I think connecting with God would be so peaceful and good for her. And then I think she'd like just have a quiet afternoon walk. And maybe I'm trying not to make this too much me, because my gut is saying nap. But maybe Mariah wouldn't love naps as much as me. So maybe a nap, maybe not. We're not decided on that.
Yeah.
And maybe, like I imagine her maybe walking by a river, and I think she does drawing. I think she's really good at drawing. I'm okay at drawing. I'm not as good as Mariah. And then I think maybe in the evening she connects with her ladies.
Yeah.
I think maybe she goes on a little picnic with them, or a little walk.
Yeah.
And maybe boyettes there too.
Of course.
That's her ideal day. Her ideal Sunday.
That sounds good. Nice and relaxing, some self-contemplation.
Yeah. Totally. But then also that time with people. I think she likes both a lot.
Yeah. A nice balance.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. I know you touched on it a little bit briefly. The letters, that kind of stuff. Don's been having you guys do a lot of like research, homework, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Delve into that a little bit for me.
Okay. Well, there's one of the first days after we'd gone through the script. We had this day where we just like walked around as our character and picked a phrase or a couple phrases of our characters to kind of go off of. But first of all, we were just walking around the room in our character. I thought that was kind of cool because I hadn't really done that much before. And I was like, oh, I think Mariah is pretty contemplative. And then she's walking around, and then it's like we slowly started to interact with the characters, and I thought that was fun because then I was like, oh, she's really excited to see her ladies, like Rosalind and Catherine, like she's super pumped to see her friends.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it was so quiet and they got louder and louder because then like they formed the groups that we normally formed, and then the king and his men came over and that was so much fun, and just all the interactions with that was really cool. So we just greeted the other characters in our name, in our words I mean, and then before that we'd kind of just like sat down and really dove into the script, which I thought was really helpful because like there's a lot of meanings for every sentence, and sometimes I could only get so far in my own research because I could find out what the individual words meant, but not when they were all streamed together, and so I didn't actually know what I was talking about. But now I do a little bit better. And then, Dawn got us to each write a letter to every other character from the perspective of our character.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a little time intensive, but that was also like, I think really neat. And yeah, it was neat to think about how my character thinks about each character, not just the characters that she interacts with most, but also like the characters that she doesn't really interact with very much at all. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then now we're mostly just going scene by scene, and sometimes she'll tell us to work on something from home. So one of those was, me and Rachel are making the letters, so I'm excited about that. That's not character specific.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes if there's something in rehearsal that we need to work on, then we'll work on it at home.
Yeah.
And I think that's mainly
nice.
That's mainly it. That's the gist of it.
Cool. It's a cool process getting to really get to know your character.
Yeah. And I've done a lot of shows recently with really new directors. So it's interesting to go from the switch of like a new director who's figuring out what they like to Dawn, who's like has experience.
Has the process.
And she knows what she wants and knows what she likes. Like I think it's great.
Yeah.
And I think it's great to get experience with new directors too, to see what you like and how they do stuff differently, because sometimes they'll take more risks and stuff. But I think there's something so lovely about like a director who has it down. Has it down. This is what's going on. I appreciate the initiative.
Nice. All right, since this is one of Shakespeare's lesser known plays, who is someone in like a movie, TV show that either describes your character perfectly or is a perfect foil for your character?
Ow, that's so much fun. My character. I don't know. Let me think about it. Oh, I've been rereading The Hunger Games. So this is at the forefront of my brain. But maybe like, the girl from The Hunger Games, who's like from, she's like one of the victors, and she's like really intense and really aggressive. And she kind of like, she just goes through a lot of really hard things. So you're like, no wonder, poor girl. But it's not Katniss, and it's the girl from the, it's like the Wood District 8 or something. And she's got, anyway, she goes through a lot of really traumatic stuff. I'll probably find her name later, but as I was saying,
you'll wake up at midnight, we'll get her.
I know who it is. But through thinking that through, I think someone who she would be really like is Candace's little sister. It's gonna come to me. I don't know. Prim. Yeah. Because I think she's really like, I think she's quite soft, but also not in a way that makes her weak necessarily. But I think Prim also kind of evokes like a maternal instinct.
She's very
I think I kind of like I think I have a lot of little sister vibes in this one, because I don't talk as much and I don't say as many like scandalous crazy things as the other ladies. And then, like, definitely with the princess, she's like, when I'm like, I really like this guy. She's like, he's not a good girl, don't do this. And so I think definitely that. And so maybe then Katniss would be a foil too. But no, I'm not going to remember the girl's name. Ugh, shoot.
That's okay, it'll come to you.
I'll tell you later.
Okay, you tell me later. All right. What do you hope audiences will take away from the show, or how is it a story relevant to today's audiences?
Maybe that you don't need to like lock yourself away to become the best version of yourself, or like I think sometimes we get kind of into like get into the grind set and like there's a lot of challenges these days where it's like, okay, you just work really hard and then you come out and then you're like this great new person, or like, and that you just, it's like all down to like fitness and discipline and all these things. But I think community can be really, really healing, and I think I'm like realizing that anew. And I think that's kind of like a message of the show, like it kind of points out how silly it is to just like lock yourself away to become the best version of yourself, and it doesn't really work. The king and the other men, they give up pretty quickly.
Yeah, they do.
They're it down to a couple of pretty ladies and they're like, okay, well, what was that even about anyway?
Yeah.
And I think maybe too, like, the kind of like toxic masculinity that can be presented where it's like you need to be the best, like the king and his men kind of, and sometimes it almost feels like they're kind of preening how good they are, and they're like, the ladies are gonna love this, but then the ladies don't really. But then when the ladies like play with them more and like kind of tease them, then the ladies are more like, I think just that you don't need to be perfect to be loved kind of a thing. Yeah. And also like it's just good to laugh. I think it's so much fun.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. In 3 to 5 words, describe the play for me. You can count on your fingers.
Yeah. Silly. And no more vow. Good.
Good. All right. So no more about good.
Yeah. That's all I got for you.
Hey, it works. It works. What is your favorite Shakespeare play and why?
I don't know. I'm not actually huge into Shakespeare.
Okay.
So I don't know. I'm getting more into it though. I feel like there's lots of fun.
There's some potential for a favorite.
Exactly. There is potential for my Shakespeare growth. But as of right now, let me think on it. I think I like the comedies and I like the quick wit in the comedies. Maybe a Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Because I feel like it's got a lot going on. And it's also really silly. And I think I watched a show version of it when I was really little. And I really liked it. And it was like beautiful. And I love beautiful shows. Oh, yes, definitely. Because then I think I also saw it in Shakespeare in the Park.
Yeah, we did do it a few years ago. Yeah,
I loved it. And someone was like pretending to be a door, and I was like, that's like so silly. The gate.
Yeah.
The gate. I was like,
Stonewall.
I was like, it's so good. That's hilarious. And I think too, because it's like I could get that even though I'd never read the show before.
Yeah.
I was like pretty little at that point.
Yeah. It's probably one of the easier ones to understand.
You know, and I think that's really cool, even though the language is so tricky. And I think there's a really cute boy playing one of the love interests. And I was like, oh my goodness. I was like blushing the whole time. I was like, wow. So I'm maybe a little bit biased, but I loved it so much.
Oh, nice. All right, last question, but I need you to pick a category.
Okay.
And the categories are superheroes, books, or animals. Superheroes. All right. Which is the best Deadpool variant or movie, and why?
I don't know Deadpool.
You don't know Deadpool? Okay.
I don't know Deadpool. I can choose a different one. Animals.
Animals? Okay. Cats or dogs, and why? Or neither?
I love my cat Jazzy. Because he's just a sweetheart, and I like that cats have they've got a plan. They like what they like and they don't what they don't, and I kind of respect that they've got a lot going on. Like I feel like my cat will come and like cuddle with me and I'll pet him and we're like having a great time. But then sometimes I'll just like stand up, meow, and he's like, meow, I'm out of here. Like,
Yeah,
I've got stuff to do, and I kind of respect them. Like, yeah, you do have places to be. But I feel like a lot of dogs are like, I love you so much, and I always want to be with you.
Yeah.
Which I think is great too. But I think also at this point in my life, I do a lot of school, or over the summer I do a lot of work and like Shakespeare stuff. So it's like I feel like dogs need more from me.
Yeah, cats are a bit more independent.
Yeah, cats. So I feel like it's just the better match.
Yeah.
And I love my cat. He's a real sweetheart. So
nice. All right. Well, that is the end of the interview. Thank you for chatting.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
Yeah.